Hi, I'm Nathaniel, and this is a supplemental video lesson for the Jazz Guitar Now podcast, episode 3. In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate for you some of the key concepts that I talked about in the podcast, such as the 3-note chord voicings and voice leading for those 3-note chord voicings. There is a sheet available for download at nathanielmoreguitar.com that shows those, as well as a voice leading sheet and a chord comping sheet for Autumn Leaves, the tune that I'm going to be using to demonstrate these on. So the idea behind these 3-note voicings is that you just have, you're paring down the harmony to the most essential part of it so that you just have the sort of meat and potatoes of the music to get a better understanding of jazz harmony and to make it a little more accessible to everyone. So the 3 notes in the voicings are the root, the 3rd, and the 7th. No matter what kind of chord it is, we're leaving out 9ths, we're leaving out 5ths, flat 5, sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 5, 13, 11. We're not adding any of those extra notes into the chords at this point. So I'm going to adjust my camera angle so you can see the neck of my guitar as I demonstrate these voicings for you. Let me just say that this approach to jazz guitar differs because I'm not using the grips that people are used to learning, and if you've already learned a bunch of grips, then just set that knowledge aside for a minute while we take a little bit of a deeper look at how harmony flows in jazz music. So now that I've got my neck angle here, I'm going to demonstrate these chords starting on B, and there are 2 different ways that I can voice these. There's this way and this way. So this one here, now you may be familiar with this chord if you have played it like this or like this. We're not going to play those extra notes and those doubled notes. We're just playing the root, which is B, the 7th, which is A, and the 3rd, which is D. So this is a B minor 7 chord, 3-note voicing. The next chord, E, 7, dominant 7. Root, 3rd, 7th. So the first one, B minor 7, E minor 7. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with B as the root to show you these. Next one, B major 7. So B, then the major 7, which is D sharp, A sharp. Major 7 is A sharp. Major 3rd, which is D sharp. Okay, so that's B major 7, root, 7, 3. Next chord is going to be, you can do this, either one. And those notes are B, root, A, which is the dominant 7th, D sharp, which is the major 3rd. So this is a B7 voicing. So your other 7th voicing was with the root on the 5th string, root 3, 7. This one is with the root on the 6th string. Now the reason I may alternate between this way of playing it and this way of playing it is when you start adding in the extra notes, I can easily catch that sharp 5 with my pinky here, or the flat 5. Okay. Same thing with the minor version. I can easily catch that flat 5 here. Or if I have an ascending melody, one that goes up, it's easy to do that as well. Okay. So that's useful in chord melody or creative comping and soloing and self-comping while you solo. The next one, E major 7, root, 3, and major 7. So that's E, G sharp, and D sharp. And you can use this voicing here. It's the same voicing but different fingers. Pinky stays the same. Or this one, if you like. Again, you can easily catch those extra notes. Next one is the minor 7th on the root 5 string. So the root's here now, the 5th string, whereas before it was on the 6th string. Now it's here. E minor 7, root 3, 7. Okay. Root 3, 7. Now I recommend you practice these chords up and down the neck chromatically. You know. As well as in standard progressions that you might find in jazz, like 2-5-1 and 6-2-5-1. And when you're practicing your 2-5-1 and 6-2-5-1 progressions, I would recommend you do two things. First of all, do them chromatically up and down the neck. And second of all, do them in the circle of fifths. So if you're going to do the circle of fifths version, starting on C, you're going to start with your 2 chord. How do you find your 2 chord? Here's your root C. You play the next note on the scale, D. That's your 2 chord. So a 2-5-1 means your root starting on 2, then going to 5, then to 1. The 2 chord is minor, so you're going to use this voicing, D minor, then to this voicing, G7, then to this voicing, C major 7. Now, as you can hear, there's really nice voice leading going on here. And if you're not familiar with voice leading, that is basically the practice of your notes moving as smoothly as possible from one voice to the next in harmony, and keeping common tones whenever possible. So there are some common tones here. We have D minor 7, which contains D, C, and F. Now we have G7, which contains G, B, and F. So the common tone between these two is that F chord. I mean that F note, not chord. F. F natural is the 3rd of a D minor chord. And F natural is the dominant 7th of a G7 chord. The other thing that happens with these 2-5-1 progressions, and when you're using this type of voicing, is the notes always move to the next closest note or keep a common tone, which is what we want. So, what happens in jazz harmony when you're switching chords through a progression most commonly is the 7th goes to the 3rd, and the 3rd becomes the 7th, or vice versa. 3rd becomes the 7th. 7th moves to the 3rd. Okay? Continuing down the circle of fifths, your next one is going to be F. That's 2, 5, 1. So your common tones of that G minor chord, the common tone between G minor and C7 is this B flat. So in the G minor, that's your 3rd. In the C7, that's the dominant 7th. So the 3rd becomes 7, and the 7 of G minor moves to the 3rd of that C dominant 7th chord, and resolving to F major 7, the 1 chord, and from C dominant 7 to F major 7, the harmonic movement is this: 7 of C moves to 3 of F. And 3 of C, that E, becomes the major 7th of F. That's the major 7th. That's the dominant 7th of C, moving to the major 3rd of F, major 7. Your next note, your next key in the circle of fifths is B flat now. So we're moving in fifths. We started on C, then F. Now our home key, that major 7th chord that's going to resolve this progression, is B flat. Find your 2 by playing the next note in the B flat scale. C minor, F dominant 7th, B flat major 7th. Next is going to be E flat in the circle of fifths. Okay? E flat. Find your 2. F minor. 5 is B flat 7, and 1 is E flat major 7. Next, A flat. Find your 2. B flat minor, E flat 7, A flat major 7. 2, 5, 1. Now we're going to D flat. Find your 2, which is E flat minor. A flat 7 is 5. D flat major 7 is 1. Notice how smooth the voice leading is. G flat is next. We move over here a little bit. Find your 2, which is A flat minor. These are all 3-note voicings. B. Find your 2. That's C sharp minor, F sharp dominant 7th, to B major 7. We're going to hop up here for that E. The next in the circle of fifths is E. 2 is F sharp minor. 5 is 2 is F sharp minor. 5 is B 7, dominant 7. And 1 is E major 7. 2, 5, 1. 2, 5, 1. Notice how little my hand needs to move to play these chords. You want to have the minimum amount of movement possible. A major. From E to A major. We're moving in fourths, by the way. The circle of fifths can be moved in fourths or in fifths. So, find your 2 chord. That's B minor, B minor, E7, A major 7, B minor, E7, A major 7. Now we're at D. D minor, A dominant 7, D major 7, E minor, A dominant 7, D major 7, G. The 2 chord of G is A minor, D7, B major 7, A minor, D7, B major 7. Now we're back home to C. 2 chord, D minor, 5 chord, G7, 1 chord, C major 7. So that's how I'd recommend you practice these 3-note voicings through the circle of fifths or in fourths. I would recommend you start on either C or an F and do 2, 5, 1s throughout the circle. Now if you want to check out a circle of fifths and you see the top is C and you move over fifths, you'll notice that the notes The three notes preceding C are 2, 5, 1 in a chord progression. Okay? So the easiest way, I think, to find the 2, 5, 1 is if you just take your bass note or your C scale to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1. That's going to be a major 7th chord. That's 2. That's going to be a minor 7th chord. That's 5. That's going to be a dominant 7th chord. Say you start on F. That's 1. That's going to be a major 7th chord. But you know it's 2, 5, 1, so 1, 2. Your 2 chord is always minor 7. Your 5 chord is always dominant 7 in a major key. We're not talking about minor 2, 5, 1s here. We're talking about 2, 5, 1s in a major key. 2 is always minor 7. 5 is always a dominant 7. And 1 is always a major 7 or a major 6. Okay, so that's how I would recommend practicing these 3-note voicings in jazz music. Again, take these and apply them to the music immediately. Don't just practice them in chromatics and in circle of fifth progressions, but grab a tune, grab Autumn Leaves, download the sheet from my website, nathanielmorguitar.com, and start comping these voicings with the tune. Find a bass player to play with, and start jamming. If you want to hit me up for some private lessons, you can contact me through nathanielmorguitar.com. I offer private lessons online and in person. I'm located in the Seattle-Tacoma area. And if you want to check out some music and other things that I'm up to, you can check out my duet at dujeton.com. And you can check out my compositions at nathanielmorguitar.com as well. Alright, thanks. I hope you liked this lesson. Please subscribe and like the video, and tell your friends about it, and I'll catch you next time.